Welcome to NBTV, Dr. Chitra Bhardwaj. How are you doing today?
I'm fine, and thank you so much, Sanuj Gautam, for inviting me to the channel.
It's my pleasure. So we'll start talking about the importance of Sanskrit. And as you are a professor of Sanskrit at Delhi University, so we'd like to know all about your journey, your experience, and importance and scope future opportunities in Sanskrit. So shall we start our talk today?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so before I start asking you questions about the same, first and foremost, I would like to know about your journey. Like, how come you chose Sanskrit as a subject? And because in modern time, people don't prefer Sanskrit, Hindi, rather they go for English and other foreign languages. So, what made you choose Sanskrit, and how did you experience the same?
Thank you so much, Sanuj, for asking me this question because I've been answering this question to all of my students in Delhi University who come for
Okay.
admission. And most of the time they are disheartened because they don't get good marks in plus two, and then they want to get admission in Delhi University. So they come
Okay.
for Sanskrit honors, most of them. I'm talking
Mm-hmm.
about 90% of the students are like that. But here I would like to mention that what type of the course is this, and how a person should feel very empowered after being a student, or say equipped with the knowledge of Sanskrit.
Okay.
If I take my example, in my case, I also belong to a set of students who are there very ambitious for engineering, or say for medical profession, or even the UPSC. My life has been
Yeah.
a journey. So in that particular scenario, I would just give you the example from my life, how I started off with the subject, and where today I am, how I went to that path, and how did I do this particular course, and then where I am right now, how I feel right now. So
Yeah, we
I
would like
will
to
just
know all about it. Sorry to interrupt you, but I want to tell you something
yeah,
that,
that's it.
in today's time, I found very, rare people who want to go into Sanskrit and, they become a professor this level. So it takes a lot of efforts, to do your bachelor's, master's, MPhil, PhD. So many things are there. So, it takes a lot of guts and, efforts to be there. So I'm very curious to know about your journey.
I was initially, when I was a student I was in school. I was always having this impression in my mind because my father was from a medical background, so I always wanted to be a doctor. So the thing
Okay.
happened that I was very good in studies. So at that moment, the school was offering both
Hmm.
physics as well as bio. So I was having
Okay.
physics, bio, maths, and all these subjects were there. So I was having both the options of going into medical field as well as engineering.
So you
So I
were a
still
science
remember the
student.
day. Yeah, I was a science student, and
Okay.
you will be really, you will be like, I don't know how will you react to this, but the thing is that
Uh-huh.
I cleared my Roorkee engineering PT also,
That's
and
great.
but then when my father was there and he was very happy regarding me clearing this PT examination, he was asking me, so now you are going to, Chitra, you are going to prepare for the mains. Then I said, Papa, I
Mhm.
don't think so that I am interested in going for engineering, and that too IIT. So he asked me, what do you want to actually do? So I said, Papa, I want to do something else, not this. This is not the thing that
Okay.
I really want to do. Be engineer, then what do I want to do in my life? So I thought that I think UPSC will be the one that I want to do. So then I opted for two options, history and Sanskrit. And I, from that science background, I shifted to arts. And I
Okay.
took admission in Vivekanand College because it was near to my place and I could have more time to study.
And
So
how was your parents' reaction on the same? Like from science background, you switched over to arts, and that's also into Sanskrit and history. So what was their reaction for the same?
I think whatever today I am, it's all because of my parents, because they have always been really very supportive throughout my life. Whatever decision I have
Uh-huh.
made in my life, whether it's my personal, professional, or anything, they have always been there as a rock solid support to me. So I have
Okay.
always whatever I was doing, they were having all the support that they can provide to me. Like for example, if when I was in Vivekanand College,
Hmm.
when I shifted from science background. So initially, though I was like, what am I doing? Am I in a correct place or what? Because the subjects were really alien to me. I was not even
Okay.
aware about the single ABCD of the subjects. But what I did was, I was always very much aware that whatever the teacher are teaching, I have to be very constant with that. And what I got from that environment was that how much your dedication is the most important thing towards doing anything, whatever field you are, whether it's science, arts, or commerce, or whatever the
Yeah.
field it is. Your dedication is the foremost important thing that makes you attain that height or achieve your set targets that you want. If you are very much dedicated and if you don't leave that faith that you want to get over that point that you want in your life.
Okay. I want to ask you one more question here. What is the scope of Sanskrit language in India and at global level? And another thing is that, as I asked you earlier as well, why is there, vacuum in, Sanskrit learning? Why is it so? And how we can get rid of this problem, because students show more interest, they're more crazy for French, German, Spanish, Chinese, Japanese, rather than modern Indian languages and Hindi, Sanskrit, Tamil, and other languages just like that. So what's your take on the same?
See, Sanoj, I have been witnessing this problem in the students or in the general, in the masses, because when I started off this professional journey of being a professor in Delhi University, I encountered people who were like, okay, you teach Sanskrit? I don't understand why they feel so that a person who's teaching a Sanskrit is anyway inferior to anyone else. Where in the apart from after, if we could talk globally, when I started off, I'm shifting over the things. When I started off this channel of mine, Learn Sanskrit, then also some people were like, uh, "Do people study Sanskrit?" And when I asked them about their day-to-day life and the single thing that they do every day since the time they wake up to the time they sleep and go to bed, most of the things are inspired by the Sanskrit things. So Sanskrit is there in our blood, in our everyday life. So how can we do without just even being aware about the subject? Do any one of us know about anything about French, German, or anything else? No, we don't know anything about these things, but still we love it because it's been imported from outside. That's in the garb of being westernized. We love to be called as a illiterate people.
So, Dr. Chitra, who do you think is responsible for degrading the importance of Sanskrit language?
See, there are many factors responsible for this. I won't say that degradation actually happens to any of the subject. It's about the way you conceive it or perceive it. In a sense, like Sanskrit is also having a set of students or set of ardent followers who are madly in love with the subject. So you can't say that there is any degradation. It's just about the
Mhm.
the people, how they perceive it, because when you see, it's about the ignorance that they are having, the ignorance
Okay.
about the glory of the subject. They are not aware about the glory of the subject. That's why they don't find a reason to study a subject once
And
they
why is
know
it
that.
so? Why is it so? Like, why they're not showing interest in that? When they can have interest in Persian, when they can have interest in German, French, or other languages, then why not Sanskrit and Hindi?
See, it's just simple, Sanuj, that when the yoga becomes yoga, it attracts people. You understand that when
Yeah.
simple word yoga becomes yoga, people start
Mhm.
following it. And when it
Okay.
was from its roots and said to be yoga, then people were like not valuing that way, that it's now being valued. When something is imported from outside, we tend to feel that anything that is coming from developed countries is more developed than our developing nation. But they don't understand that we have been in this whole big time frame where we were ruled by some foreigners, and before that time we were called very the one of the most prosperous nation was India, and that is the particular time period is actually taken us so many century backs on the scale of the development. That's why we are in the developing nation. We are not a
Correct.
developed nation because we were the developed nation earlier when everyone was developing. So
Okay.
we should consider that we should know our roots. We should stick
So
to our roots.
can we say that somehow Westernization is also responsible for the same?
See, I would, and for anything that happens in your house, you cannot blame some for neighbor who is actually. It's about the how you do your things in your house, and then you have to be strong enough to resist to the neighbor's intrusion. We need to be strong enough ourselves to shine so brightly to overshadow that part that is coming from outside nations.
Okay, Dr. Bhardwaj, some of our students, who are our viewers, our subscribers, they want to know that what are the options available in Sanskrit? I mean, career options and opportunities that, they can make the best use of those options.
Uh, this is again a question that every student would actually love to get answered. See, Sanuj, I will once I've always said this, and I'm saying this, that every language, whether it's Hindi, English, or Sanskrit, has all the similar options. Like for a teacher of Sanskrit, a teacher of English, a teacher of any other language, and likewise, you have so many scope or say so many chances nowadays in the media also, because Daily National is also doing the news called Vartavali. So you have the news anchoring thing, that anyone who's equipped with the knowledge of Sanskrit and who can speak in Sanskrit and who has the how to make the sentences or frame the sentences can be a part of Vartavali, or he can be a news editor also. So all those
Okay.
options that are for the Hindi or English are there for Sanskrit and in a better form. Reason me, Hindi and English, people can okay fine, they can learn it, and but the person who has actually done a formal study of Sanskrit has a better chance over them. And let me tell you one more thing. Like for example, the students who have done my graduation in Delhi University, who do graduation, then many of them go for teaching options, so they do B.Ed. So in Sanskrit,
Okay.
we have special B.Ed colleges who are just for the Sanskrit
Okay.
with their PhD.
Okay.
Like, so they run
But
a super.
I want to ask you one more thing, that you are talking about some of the departments, but are you aware that there are many universities in India which don't have Sanskrit department? I mean, this is when I got to know about
But
the same, so I was very surprised. How come it's possible? On the one hand, we are talking about English language and comparing Sanskrit with the same. On the other hand, we find that we don't have
it's
even
just about
department at the
it's
universities.
yes, Anuj, you are very right that there are certain states or say certain universities which doesn't have any department of Sanskrit. But I would like to share my thought here that it's about the
Yeah.
perception. How do you perceive glass as half full or half empty? It's just about you have the Sanskrit universities itself. So you don't
Okay.
need a university which has a department because you have Sanskrit universities like Lal Bahadur
Okay.
Shastri University. So there are, it's itself an institution, big institution.
Okay. Now
You won't find that
I want
thing
to
for
yeah.
others.
See, you are an expert of Sanskrit language, so I would like to ask you one thing. If we want to take Sanskrit at a global level, do you think so it's feasible?
Yes,
And if Hindi, sorry, if English can be adopted by the world in the global village, so why not Sanskrit? And what we should contribute in terms of making it a global language? Your take on the same.
yeah. Uh, as far as the globalization of a knowledge or say Sanskrit is concerned, I will say that Sanskrit is already globalized in a sense that if we understand the linguistics of all the languages, then we will be knowing the fact that most of the words of the European nations and even the American and many other languages are actually derived from Sanskrit. So
Is it true?
people are,
Is it true?
yeah,
I've watched it in a movie as well. That when Akshay Kumar tells somebody that brother has come from Bhrata and
yeah,
mother has come from
yes.
Mata, something like that.
Matri,
So is it
Matri
true?
Shabd is there, and that,
Matri.
yes, yes, Matri Shabd is there, and likewise it goes. There are many
Hmm.
words, and in fact, this is a paper in Sanskrit that we teach to a student in this graduation. In the second year, there
Okay.
is a paper, Sanskrit and World Literature, where we talk about how those words are formed from Sanskrit. So
Okay.
we cannot say that that we want to just spread this knowledge of Sanskrit in the worldwide arena. Reason being, it's already there. It's just about we. It's always said that Deepak Tale Andhera. It's the same phenomenon over here.
Once we start giving it importance in our country, then only people will start learning the same. This is what you want to say?
I would say it like this. I can say it in other word because people outside I have seen that people have such a huge craze of Sanskrit in the foreign nations or say outside India that at times I'm so surprised to hear that how come our nation feel that okay fine, you are a Sanskrit student or you are a Sanskrit teacher, because we get so much respect over there that at times we feel like why our nation is not actually understanding the language depth.
Okay. So, Dr. Chitra, I want to ask you one more question. You are having a very constructive and positive approach towards what I'm asking you. But there are some darker side of the same. For example, if I ask you that we are talking about that, okay, let's make it global. We have to work on the same. But what about Indian education system? We are not emphasizing on the need of Sanskrit. We have got our Vedas, and many other scriptures and texts we have got in Sanskrit, but none of us, I mean, if I am not talking about you, but I'm talking about myself, that I cannot read and comprehend the same. While I'm very much excited to learn. And second question that is connected with this, if we look at the ratio, so it's quite less, right? We just say it is the oldest language in the world. Sanskrit and Tamil, these are the oldest language. How easy and difficult it is to learn Sanskrit, and how
Uh,
one can learn the same?
Yes, Sanuj, I think it's the most easiest of the all the language because it's the most scientific of the all. Once you
Okay.
understand the basic of the language, then you yourself start understanding how to frame the sentences. You might be knowing it yourself that even NASA has said that Sanskrit is a best coding language for the computers. Let me
Okay.
here just
I
take the
heard
example.
about it, but I'm not exactly sure who said what to whom.
Yeah, because see, it's still a programming thing is going on right now in NASA, how
Mhm.
to make the Sanskrit as a language of for programming computers.
Okay.
And let me tell you one more thing. When I started off my teaching career, I started off
Mhm.
with the Rajguru College of Applied Sciences, where I taught to
Okay.
computer science students Sanskrit.
Uh-huh.
And
Okay.
see, one of my student, she once called me from somewhere outside India. She was, I suppose, in America somewhere in some university, and she asked me about the books from which I have taught her because she wanted to apply for this particular course where they were working on this computer and all.
Okay. So do you
So
think
it's
so
about,
that teaching and learning Sanskrit can make India a superpower in 21st century, right? Do you think so? Like English has helped, many
yes, I
Western
do.
countries become superpowers. So how it can make India a superpower if we start adopting Sanskrit? Because many people who are watching this video, maybe they'll take interest in learning Sanskrit. And I'll just stop you for a moment. Uh, I will just tell all the viewers right now here one thing, that Dr. Chitra Bhardwaj is conducting free of cost Sanskrit lessons on YouTube. Am I correct?
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
channel name is
Okay.
Human
So,
Sanskrit.
okay. So can you please tell me a little about your channel and what I asked you the same thing as well?
Yeah, Sanuj, I started off this channel. The channel name is Learn Sanskrit. In this, I'm
Okay.
going on with a step by step. Right now, I'm in the very beginning. I started off with a Maheshwar Sutra because considering that it is auspicious to start anything with by the name of God. And then I
Okay.
started off with the literature part because I think that people should be aware about the literature that Sanskrit has and what are the points and how this literature have the content in it and how should be like I'm right now going on with the Veda series, especially Rig Veda series. So there are 10
Okay.
books in Rig Veda. People know the name, the four Vedas they know Rig Veda, Yajurveda, Samveda, Atharveda. But they don't know that there are 10 books in Rig Veda and those books are divided in hymns and the hymns are divided in verses mantra. So likewise, we are talking about the literature, and we started off with Rig Veda, and then we'll go to Yajurved, Samved, and Atharved, and likewise the literature portion will be finished, and then we'll go to the grammar part. And that is how
Okay.
I have thought about this.
Okay. So my next question is related to our country, right? We are a diversified nation. There are a lot many languages, people, ethnicity, lot many differences are there in people. So, and we have got dialects, we have got some 5,000 dialects, we have got 22 official languages. And how do you think that, do you think so Sanskrit can unite India in terms of language?
Yes, definitely. When we say that unity is still there in diversity, India is actually famous
Yeah,
for
it is
its
there.
unity
But I'm
in
talking about in terms of,
its
you know,
language.
language. Yeah.
See, when we can adopt a foreign language of English as a lingua franca, so why not a language from our own nation who has
Okay.
given birth to different dialects and different
Correct.
languages that we are adhered to till date and call it as our mother tongue. So I think the basic of those all languages actually Sanskrit, and it's a very good binding force to unite all India together. Whatever we see as a pan India will be only done by a single lingua franca, and that will be not English, Sanskrit.
Okay. My another question that is related to parenting and women empowerment. Although I know that both are, different things, but I want to ask you that how Sanskrit can help, you are also a mother, so you can easily tell us whether this Sanskrit has helped you as a language, it is what it has given you in terms to be a, better parent, and how we can do women empowerment with the help of Sanskrit. Is it possible, or this is something only I'm thinking?
No, it is actually there in our literature, in all the literature, starting from Veda itself,
Yeah.
because in the Vedas, we find that women had a very good higher position in the society. Even
Okay.
there were sages, or say there were rishis, they were termed as rishis like Lopamudra and Ashwala. These are the rishis, and because they have composed those hymns as like their male counterparts. So what we can see that there is a balance in the society in the Sanskrit or say Vedic period where the Sanskrit was a primary language or was the only language at that moment. So what we can see right now that there is certain all the literature of Sanskrit that talks about the women empowerment. Yatra narya pujante ramante tatra devata, wherever women are like worshipped. So
Okay.
there is all the thing holy and auspicious goes on, and where she is not honored that ways, all the kriya become nishfal. That is
Okay.
without any results. So this is all from the Sanskrit itself.
Okay, now I want to ask you, like, many students will watch this video, right? So what advices would you like to give, a piece of advice you'd like to give to the students who are watching this particular video? I mean, if we say that 5 success tips you want to give to students for both language learning and as well as in their career.
See, one thing that I always say to my students, why we always tend to get attracted toward youth is actually not the way that we see as our parent, but the parents are always more experienced than our any young partner. So that way
Mhm.
goes with the Sanskrit also. Sanskrit is
Okay.
more experienced, is full of knowledge. So learn to respect it. And in case if you choose it as one of your subject or career, so definitely it's going to blossom you in all the fields and will make you achieve all the heights that you wish to achieve in your life, whether in the economical aspect, whether in the social aspect, in every arena. This particular subject is the richest in the world.
Okay. And tips for students to succeed in life for the students. How students can succeed in their lives, like what mantras as a professor would you like to give them?
It's just about believing in yourself. First is that one should have a faith in him or herself, because once you lose your faith in your own self, then everything becomes very negative
That's true,
in your
that's true.
surrounding also. So,
Yeah.
so you are the only motivational factor for you. So whatever
Okay.
you are going to achieve in your life is actually, first of all, your belief in your own self. Start believing
Mhm.
in yourself. Secondly, never give up, because see, hurdles are always for those who can just overcome that or can surpass it. So hurdle makes you more stronger human being, or it takes best out of you. So never give up when a hurdle comes in your life, because it's for a betterment. Because God
Okay.
gives it when He feels that you are the person who can be given it. So believe in
Yeah.
yourself. Never surrender to any of the hurdle that comes in your life, because once the phase gets over, you will yourself feel that how beautifully you have emerged and what new human person you, or what better person you have become after that fight.
It's like, God, why me? Instead, we should say, God, try me, I'm ready. Is it so?
Yes, it is. It is. It is. So it is.
How can we learn any language? And what are your suggestions, your tips and techniques that you would like to give to any student to learn any language?
Start with the basic.
Okay.
And first of all, to get attracted to any of the language, you should know about the heritage and the literature that have been composed in that language, so that you start loving that language.
Okay. And any other tips you'd like to share with the students, like any other secrets you think so that can help them to learn and understand language in a better way so that they can make the best use of the language in their day-to-day life and in their professional life as well as in personal life, just like that?
Start making small sentences as far as possible. The more smaller the sentences, more forceful and impactful it is.
Okay. That's fine.
Because
That's
when you make small sentence, the chances of doing anything wrong becomes less. Namo Namah. What did I say? Namo Namah.
Namo
So
Namaha.
what does it mean? It means I'm greeting you. The way I'm saying Namo Namah is a small sentence. Namo Namah.
Okay.
So the person whom I'm greeting will listen to what I'm saying and will say Namo Namah.
Okay. Namo
Okay?
Namaha. Is it right?
Yes. Mam Naam
Okay.
Chitra Bhavata Naam Kim. Mama
Um,
naam Chitra, Bhavata naam Kim.
so what should I say about this? I mean,
Listen to this. I said, Mama naam Chitra, Bhavata naam Kim. So
Mam
what is
Naam
that?
Sanoj. Is it?
Yes. What did you say?
Mam Naam Sanoj.
Yes. So that's how
Okay.
the small sentence, after hearing what the person was saying, you can frame your own
Okay.
sentence. And it's a
That
correct,
means,
grammatically correct sentence without you even knowing Sanskrit, you compose a good sentence.
yeah. And I would add one thing here. It is said if you want to be a good speaker, first of all, learn to be an active listener. Listeners become
Yes.
speakers. Is it so?
Yeah,
Okay.
it
And
is.
any book would you like to suggest to the students who wants to, who want to learn from the very beginning?
I think any of the books they want to study in this like in this fifth or sixth standard, don't go for those Dhatu Roop and Shabd Roop, because those are very higher things and will be dealt later on. But the small sentences with the say, which says like a small book where say, like I just said, Mama Nam Chitra Bhavata Nam Kim, Aham Pathami, Aham Khadami, Aham Kridami. What like small sentences are there, so you
I
understand that.
it reminded one of the incident that happened in my life. I was in, I think, fourth or fifth standard. One of my Sanskrit strict teacher, she just forced me to, work on the same. And as a result, what happened? I still learned that Asmakam Desha Bhaivotsa Bhavanti, Teshu Holika Nama Pramukh Utsav Asti. Right? As a Falgun Masasya Shukla Pakshasya Purnimaya Tito Bhavti. Right? So these are the things like, I wrote it rather than learning it in a right way with the right approach. I just learned it because, due to the pressure. So it was great, knowing your views and your thoughts. And I hope everybody would like what you told us. And all the students will get to know something from this particular session. And hope so after this Corona effect, we'll meet and we'll do one more program for the students. And thanks a lot. It's so nice of you that you spared time from your busy schedule and came for this video. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me here.